So today I decided to take a trip to the National Videogame Museum in Sheffield. Now, to say the National Videogame Museum is local to me is a bit of an understatement, so I can't really call this a road trip. Nevertheless, I booked my ticket on their website and off I went. Now, once you have paid for your ticket, all the exhibits are free to play, but I'll tell you more about that later. So, here I am in the heart of Sheffield, and now I have showed my ticket. I'm in the museum. And wow, that's a big Sonic the Hedgehog. Must be 6 foot plus tall. Now, the museum itself is split into different areas to help demonstrate different areas of video games. The first area that caught my eye was this area called gravity, and to be honest, even though we don't really pay much attention to gravitational forces, it is something that needs to be programmed in and given a value to most games to make them playable. But it really was this game that caught my eye. Thrust from Firebird in 1986. I remember I loved the physics on this game, but the keys always seemed to infuriate me, and I always seemed to get into a panic. Now, Sheffield does have a fine history of making some great games, from Monty Mole, Zool, Lotus Esprit, Little Big Planet, to name drop a few, and Tanglewood as well. I must admit that the Lotus series of games probably got most of my attention, but I did play Zool from time to time, as it was so visually nice to look at with its multi-scaping graphics on its Amiga 16-bit machines. They even have an area called Play Like a Boss, which just lets you play those special stages that we all grew up loving, like the Street Fighter 2 car beat-up scene, the Sonic Psychedelic special stage. All you've got to do is push a button to actually get the stage working, but as I've got my camera in my hand, it's hardly seems worth it. The arcade version of Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon, bit of a mouthful, from 1985, with its gorgeous anime style graphics. Based on the popular Japanese animated series, this is one of those games that I have heard of but never played. A Tamagotchi. I have to admit to having one of these. These things were all over the place at the time. I remember seeing a girl on the news as well, on the TV, who set up some sort of day club or creche for these things. People would pay money to babysit them and look after them whilst they were at work or at school. Absolutely mental. And here we have the Casio Lupe, or I think it's called My Seal computer. I think, if I'm right, this is the first games console designed primarily for female gamers. It was exclusively sold in Japan. The museum has a few collectibles scattered around the place, such as this fine looking Pip-Boy from Fallout. I've only ever played Fallout 4, but I must admit I really do enjoy that game. It's one that I keep going back to. They also have this brilliant looking Halo 3 Spartan helmet. Grand Theft Auto there for the PC, and Sensible Soccer for the Amiga. A brilliant football game, and many people, including myself, still play this today. A classic. People still have heated debates whether Kickoff or Sensi Soccer is the better though. For me, Probably Sensi Soccer. '80s pirated games. It was so easy in those days to copy games, as most people had double cassette decks and even dongles to tape games from tape to tape. Copy protection really was in its infancy at this time. Never knew anyone though who copied the box art. Pretty cool though. I was never into mobile gaming, although I did borrow an Atari Lynx from time to time. And talking of Atari Lynx, here we see one. I thought it was so ahead of the field, the graphics were absolutely brilliant. Shame it wasn't a bigger success, to be honest. The Nokia N-Gage. I remember at the time I worked at T-Mobile and this device was rammed down our throats as the next big thing. But it wasn't, was it? Maybe because the buttons were pretty poor. Okay for making phone calls, but not responsive enough for, well, to seriously play games with. Street Fighter still has such a big draw today. 10 billion in revenue from Street Fighter, that's huge. Mortal Kombat, the arcade board. Okay, or Jammer board, to give its proper name. But to be honest, there is still a pretty big Jammer community still using these for retro gaming today. Dev kits galore. God, that's massive, that one. Sorry, I take it back. That was massive. And no video game museum would be complete without a collection of arcade cabinets. All playable. Like I said earlier in the video, once you have paid to get in, everything is free, so you can play these games to your heart's content. Track and field, I will be getting reacquainted with you in a few minutes. I forgot Space Invaders didn't actually have a joystick, just buttons. Probably because I mainly played it on consoles and computers. Let's just enjoy. This is another one that I never really played, probably as I was a bit old for Ninja Turtles. I can't play and record at the same time. This is my excuse anyway. I still think that everything about Donkey Kong still looks cool today. Just look at the cabinet artwork, it's fantastic. The Neo Geo MVS, or multi-video game system. A system that allows multiple games on one cabinet. Brilliant idea. The lab is where the museum work on new exhibits and encourages children to learn the creative side of video game programming. Oh my god, it's a BBC Model B. This old 8-bit computer has a special place in my heart, as it was the computer that I used in school, as there were no PCs or IBM compatible computers in my school at that time. Like I was saying, the lab encourages you to exercise your creative side and even test out partially completed ideas and maybe even add your own.
Hello, user. I have that.
There is no game, or is there?
I hope
Well worth taking a look at, although I won't spoil it for anyone who has not played. I mean, tried it out.
That's very fun. This is not a game. It has nothing to do with it. It's just a massive package of water.
Okay, so on review, I really enjoyed my afternoon at the National Videogame Museum. There are a few things that I would have liked to have seen, but to be honest, video game history is so rich and broad that it's impossible to please everyone. I really recommend you come and take a look. It's great fun, an excellent place to come visit. I must say, this is disclaimer time. If you book tickets online, they must be done 24 hours in advance. If you don't pay in advance via their website, you can pay on the door, but it'll cost you a few pence more. So that's it from me today. Let me know in the comments what you thought and what you would like to see in the National Videogame Museum. Thank you for watching, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening and good night. That's a wrap. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Retro Bite. If you did, please remember to click like, and if you want to see future episodes, remember to subscribe and hit the notification button. And if you'd like to support the channel, then please take a look at my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/TheRetroBite to become an official supporter. You can also find the Retro Bite on social media, so why not drop by and take a look. As always, thank you for watching.